Hello and welcome back to my Let's Play of Hearts of Iron 3, Semper Fi. When last we left, I had shown you guys how I reorganized my army. I had redone the ministers, the government, to make it more efficient and get the best personalities into power. We set up our technology queue, and we set up the production queue, and we were starting on diplomacy a little bit, and we're about ready to start the game now. I had a thought as I was offline these last few days, and my thought was I would like to add a brigade of infantry to each of my headquarter units. That means, well, my four main headquarters units anyway, which would be my two theater headquarters, which is Berlin and Wittenberg, in my east and west army groups. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to start building 4 individual infantry brigades, and I'm going to put them at the top of the list. And what that will do is, not only will they be finished faster than my other units, which have artillery and anti-tank attached to them, but that will also raise up my practicals or my theory. I'm not sure which it is that gets raised when you build, but going ahead and doing that earlier will raise those up a little bit. So I think we're ready to get started now. So we're going to put the time on maximum. We're going to save the game one last time just in case we crash here. And I think we're ready to go. I got my spies, building up a little bit of diplomacy so that I can do some trades. We're going to have to, I want to get a nice flow of resources so I can build up my industry. And I think that's about it. Oh yeah, I do need to build for my armor here. One last thing. Let's see. I'll attach this guy to the 4th East Corps. That works. Okay. Beast, Panzer Army, Light. See, I've got 3 units in here, and I want to have 5 in every one of them. So I'm gonna start building some armor as well. So there's 3 in there, so I need 2 of these. I'm gonna do 2 light armor and 2 motorized. I'll put one of those at the top, so it too will raise up the practicals. Anyway, we're ready to go. I like to have that resources map mode because it looks a little bit cleaner than any of the others, in my opinion. Alright, let's get started. Here's the trades that we set up with Italy. They accept, and Nationalist China. Remember, they only needed like 2 or 3 energy, and I managed to get them to buy 40. So it's $1.50 per day. See, as I said, the upgrades, they go pretty quick, so we're just going to turn it down some, so I don't have to come in here very often. And that should do it. So I'm going to go ahead and start looking through here for people who need energy. I already made a trade with them, so I can't do a trade for a while. They need 37, and they have $54. So I'm gonna. There we go. Just do it until they're very likely to accept. Peru. They're not very likely, but they are likely. So Siam. I should just call them Thailand because that's who they are. I'm going the wrong way there. Siam became Thailand, I believe, or maybe Vietnam. Well, if I knew my world geography a little bit better, I could really teach you guys a few things, but apparently I know nothing. I'm going to have to look at the map. That might help me a little bit. Republic in Spain. So just going through here, and I'm trying to sell as much energy as I can, because as we saw, I had a pretty big surplus of energy. So the more I can sell, the better off I am, because probably by the time the wars are going to begin, I'm going to max out my energy anyway. So whatever I can sell now just means that less is wasted and I get more money coming in. And another thing about trades is when you trade with people, you build up a relationship with them. And as Germany, they're more likely to drift in my direction politically. So that could build, that could be future Axis members. Ecuador. Lots of South Americans apparently like fascism. Greece. See, I'm already out of my diplomacy points. Let's see, they accepted. Accepted. The only one who didn't accept is Bulgaria, it looks like. Other than that, I've got a massive amount of money coming in, 7 per day. Let's see. Italy wants an alliance. That sounds good to me. So they are now my ally. So I now have, there's something purple down there. Let's see what we got. The Graf Spree. You know what I'm going to do? The Graf Spree will be the first ship of my first transport. There we go. First transport fleet. I'm going to increase his rank a little bit so he won't get any penalties whenever I start adding more ships onto his fleet. I'm going to attach him to Berlin. And I'm going to this port right here, which is where I'm going to assemble the 4th and the 5th Corps. As you know, the 5th Corps is over here already. There's 3 infantry divisions, which means it needs 2 more. I'm going to have to add more to it. And when I can't deploy troops into that area because it's cut off, I'm going to deploy them right here and ship them over. So at some point I'm going to have to build some transports. So, let's see. I'm going to start trading with the Soviet Union. I'm going to sell them some supplies first of all. I'm going to sell them 20 per day. It's good enough. I'm just going to start building up a relationship with them. And I'm going to sell the USA a little bit of supplies. You know what, maybe I'm not going to sell them anything. They can kiss my big toe. Yeah, I went there. National decisions. Reoccupation of the Rhineland. Now that happens when... Well, let's see what happened. What triggers that? Let's see. You know, this must be an update, because it used to be that that wouldn't trigger until you had recruited a couple of more units. You had to place units all along the French border here, and you had to recruit a couple of new units as well. But apparently you just have to position a unit in this area somewhere. So we're going to go ahead and reoccupy it, and that will give me -2 descent. It'll give me 500 money, 250 manpower, and 2 more unity. And I will, of course, lose my relationship with main allied countries, which is, you know, Holland, Belgium, UK, and France. The UK will lose a little bit of neutrality, as will France, and I'm going to gain some threat on France, which is, you know, that's fine. Mainly I want the money and the manpower. So I reoccupied it, and more efficient laws. 3-year draft. Oh, that reminds me. What I can do is we can go in here and we can drop our conscription laws down to volunteer army. And what that will do is all of these units that are being trained as reserves, it'll require less and less and less industrial power to recruit them. So you'll see here in just a second. Yeah, you see that? We've gained almost 35 points or so worth of production just by lowering that. Now at some point I'm going to have to change that law back and start recruiting more officers, because as I recruit guys and I'm not recruiting any more officers, my numbers are going to go down and down and down. That will affect my combat ability. But if I start, well, we'll talk about that in just a minute. For now, we need to start building some more stuff. We need a lot more infantry divisions. We'll do serial times 2. And we'll start building more infantry plus artillery, which is going to be the basis of my entire army, my entire military. Let's see, we're going to build some close air support, and we'll do serial like that. Guys, for serial, we'll do industry. One more industry. We're just going to plug in some industry as we go, kind of space it out so that I'm getting it over time. Build one escort. And when this technology here, actually, you know what? Anti-air is one of the only things on ships that upgrade. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and start building a heavy cruiser. And that will get my practicals up. And it doesn't have to be all the way up to date, because I just need to have the armament, the armor, and the engines up to date. The anti-aircraft will update itself. So let's continue playing. And as I was saying, this number here will start to go down. They would like... we would give them money in exchange for metal. That sounds like a plan. The more diverse sources of material, the better. Because I don't want to have to depend entirely on one guy or the other here. And now that we have 1150 per day, I can start buying some rare material. 20, and we'll do 20. 20 rares and 20 metal. That'll almost get me out of the negative. Portugal would like to give me some metal, that's good. Republic in Spain would like to give me some metal, that's good. Come on, guys. Give me your metal. Show me your metal. Alright. We will buy some more. And I can buy from the Soviet Union because I don't plan on fighting with them for a while. So I can safely use them as a source of raw goods. Which actually happened, during World War II, was Germany cut a deal with the Soviet Union, I think during the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, was that they would divide Poland in half, and in exchange for completed manufactured goods, Russia would give Germany raw materials, and Germany would turn them into some manufactured goods and trade them back to the Soviet Union. Well, what Germany ended up doing was they screwed over Russia like that. They were accepting massive amounts of raw material. Russia held up its end of the deal, and in exchange, Germany was like, yeah, we agreed to it, but we're not really going to give you very much. We're going to keep coming up with excuses not to. So they kept delaying it, until when they finally invaded, Russia was still sending them raw materials like on the very same day. And they got back almost nothing in exchange for the goods that, the raw materials that they gave Germany. So there's an interesting little tidbit about history. We're gonna get our supply production up because we're starting to run low. I'm not gonna worry about reinforcements. I'm actually gonna lower it. That will happen over time anyway. It's gonna be a constant thing as I'm recruiting guys. And I want to keep my consumer goods just a 0.01 above the requirement, so I'm not wasting any. I have no energy left that I can trade away, but I still have a pretty good flow of money. So I'm going to check around Europe here. What do I need? Let's do some rare materials. Who would like to trade with me? Bulgaria, would you like to you like to sell me some rare materials? No, you wouldn't. How about Holland? Would you like to trade me some rare materials? Hey! Those Dutch. Those silly trusting Dutch. Don't they realize that their yard is the way I'm supposed to get into France? Going through their backyard. And along the way I'm just gonna plant my own flag. Like, hey, all these dikes belong to me now. I'll save my game here because we're getting near the end of our time. There's our submarine. So now I have I'll show you the 3 submarines. This will be my first wolf pack. I'm going to use them to conduct warfare upon my foes. So right now we're just playing a waiting game. You'll see once my troops begin to finish up their recruitment, my officer ratio percentage is going to go lower. Normally you raise that up by recruiting more officers, but that's a waste of my leadership, because with this volunteer army, my officer recruitment is down 50%. So I would have to put in basically double the amount of leadership to get the same amount of officers. So I'm just going to go ahead and ignore it for now. I'm going to check our intel, see what's going on here. Military and political espionage on me. I'm just going to keep counter-espionage in order to get rid of enemy spies. I have filled up Austria and Czechoslovakia with spies. Both of their missions is to support our party. And have 13 free spies. So that's enough spies for now. So I can go ahead and lower that. I have enough diplomacy for everything I need to do for now, so I'm going to go ahead and lower that also. And that gives me 28.92 leadership for research, which is almost as much as I need right now. I'm going to keep finding just random stuff to raise up once I get through the important things. Let's see here, we can see upgrades is... As you can see, as I'm lowering all those, my production is going up, so I can produce more and more of what I'm working on. And I'm just waiting now for various events to unfold. These troops are going to be finished in early April. The individual brigades that I have set up in the first units of AT and artillery will be finished then 3 and then 7 days after that. So there's April 1st. As you can see, I've got my units here deployed along the French border. This is going to be my West Corps, my defensive units. I don't plan on trying to do anything here other than hold this border, because the French have these forts at the Maginot Line. Still not sure how to pronounce that. I should probably look that up at some point if I'm going to keep using the word. So I'm going to go ahead and assign these brigades to the 2 headquarters and then the 2 army groups. And what that will do is, that should hopefully... a little bit closer, just so I can separate a little bit. That will hopefully stiffen up the headquarters brigade. And if it ever gets attacked, it's better to have a brigade of infantry there to protect it and let it hold out for maybe a day or 2, rather than having it collapse immediately, which is what I suspect would happen. So we now have excess production ability. I'm going to raise my resources, or supplies, a little bit. Let's see here. I'm going to build over here, looking at my infrastructure now. I would like to have a good train of infrastructure into Poland. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise the infrastructure in a couple of these and make like a little road here. Go there. There, how's that? And also, I want to build an airfield here, which gives me like a little bit more reach, I guess, into Poland if I ever need it. I might not need it, but building infrastructure and building airfields helps with your construction. Your construction practical or construction theory. I guess construction practical. And that will in turn lower the amount of time it takes to build industry. So my light artillery and my infantry weapons are finished. So I'll go ahead and cancel those. Those are 1938 now. I'm going to, since I have excess, I don't have excess yet, but I'm going to, so I'm going to go ahead and add my militia weapons to that. And here we go, the first AT units are finished. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put one right here. And I'm going to assign him to the 5th East Corps, which is over here. I'm also going to give them a new leader because, remember, this is the East Corps is a defensive unit. So we're going to see what we have in here. Let's see. We'll get a little defensive doctrine. Because the AT, remember, the purpose of the anti-tank is just to stiffen up the East Corps, to make it so that they won't get steamrolled by armor if they ever have to fight armor. We're going to assign the next one to the 4th East Corps, the 3rd East Corps, 2nd, you guessed it, 1st East Corps. We'll assign these to the West Corps, 1st West Corps, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th West Corps. So both of my defensive armies now have a little bit of an ability to withstand an attack by tanks, a shock. Since I'm going to need more, of those types of units, I'm going to build 10 more of those anti-tank. Because remember, I still need one for each of these corps, my central corps. And I'm going to build up another army as well, right here for this part of the Polish border, so I'm going to need, 5 more for there. And I think that's the end of end of our time here. We've made it to April 1936, and hopefully in the next video or two we'll manage to make it to 1937, 1938. We'll just see how long it takes, because there is a lot of organization that needs to be done in these early years here.